So, we have a treat for your viewing pleasure today. The channel, Minisodes, has once again released one of their fantastic Oldhammer battle reports. And we've made a little bit of a tradition of watching these on the channel because they're just so good. They're very, very good. If you are not subscribed to Minisodes, you should be. And you should support his channel, like and subscribing and commenting and all that amazing stuff. He does probably what I would consider to be the best Oldhammer content out there. And whilst, by the way, I always like to make a point of this. Whilst we're watching this on stream, like the same day it came out, I'll be making sure I don't post the stream highlight for like at least a week to make sure that, you know, he's getting all the views that he should be getting. But yeah, it's really, really good old battle report. And it's part of a new narrative campaign that is launched. So I'm excited to follow these ones. So it's Last Light of the Shrine, Tyranids of Dark Angels, 40k, 2nd edition campaign, part 1. So without further ado, I think we should let the content speak for itself in many ways. And let's enjoy ourselves a bit of proper Oldhammer. Sometimes I call 3rd edition Oldhammer, but really 2nd edition is the true Oldhammer. Rogue Trader is probably Ancient Hammer at this point.
In 745 M41, High Fleet Behemoth was shattered at the Battle of Macragge, but the First Tyrannic War was far from over. Scattered into the void, Tyranid splinter fleets drifted through the darkness, only to descend ravenous upon unsuspecting worlds. So it was when the first battered hive ships reached Kerek 7. For 7 days, Kerek 7...
Mordian gang res up. Mordian gang, baby. I love it. Have to say, a lot of the old artwork goes so hard. I think all of the artwork that he uses in his videos are the more... Obviously, that's obviously pretty old. But even that one looks so good, doesn't it? I somewhat miss the plasma cannons and the flamers having like the flame pattern actually painted onto the end of the guns. It was very 80s and 90s, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
But the first splinter fleet unsuspecting worlds. So it was when the first battered hive ships reached Kerek 7. For 7 days, Kerek 7 stood alone. On the 8th, a Dark Angel strike cruiser.
That, I think, is one of the best pictures, best artworks ever done for an Imperial Navy ship. It's literally perfect, in my opinion. The only other one that comes close, and maybe beats it, but it's very least equal, is the old Battlefleet Gothic, like, box art with the massive, like, I think it's like the Emperor-class battleship on it, like, and all the ships coming out like the warp and everything. Yeah.
Answered the world's garbled plea for aid. Would the 4th Company be this world's salvation?
I love it.
Or simply prolong the inevitable?
Old Dark Angels Codex
art. What difference could 100 Space Marines make against the endless swarms of the great?
Okay. Some of the old art was better than others. Maybe I draw the line at the crotch beak of the Tyranid warrior. Like, so I think what happens here is the Tyranid warrior impales you with his back protruding, underslung megacock. And then when you are impaled on the back protruding, underslung, forward-facing megacock, he then feeds you into his crotch beak more. But it's only a slight maybe because it's still pretty fucking metal.
Devourer.
I love how the old Tyranids actually held their guns. They weren't part of it.
Welcome to Minisode.
Although I do prefer them being
scenarios,
molded.
The Fires of Acheron campaign reached its dramatic conclusion outside Hive Acheron.
Hey!
This time,
I remember
we are traveling to the Galactic East during the First Tyrannic War.
Fire Warrior intro. Recognize that?
The swarming forces of High Fleet.
That's so cool. Am I becoming a full grognard if I say that I'm starting to believe that some of the old, well, I'm starting to believe the old Sisters of Battle look better than the new Sisters of Battle? Is that too far? Have I lost the plot? I don't know. There's something about that one with the melter gun right there, back to the wall, that just says, like, yes.
Behemoth as they fight to save a beleaguered Imperial world from being consumed. Let's head to the mission briefing. Brothers, our long-range augurs have detected an alien vessel of prodigious size above Carrick 7.
Loving the voice acting.
Intercepts confirm that a full planetary invasion is underway. We do not have the strength to counter this threat directly. Our best course of action is to disrupt these Tyranids, learn their weaknesses, and aid
That's a
the
cool
League
picture.
defenders of Carrick 7. Veteran Sergeant,
Yes!
accept your order.
Final liberation cutscenes.
Isolated shrine under the watch of the Order of the Martyred Lady has requested assistance. You have 2 squads at your disposal.
1 second. I revise my statement. Metal Sisters of Battle. Godlike Poet. I revise my statement. I think that the old Battle Sisters, specifically, plus the Repressor Transport are better. But I will cede to the Right Honourable Gentleman that the old metal penitent engine should be cast into the fires of Hades, never to return. I'll give you that one.
Secure the holy site. Fend off the Tyranids long enough to retrieve the sacred relics. Await extraction via Thunderhawk. Go now, and may the Emperor guide your blade. Today we are playing a custom mission.
I mean, come on, guys. You know what? Reddit already hates me. I might as well say it. At least these Sisters of Battle look like women.
Inspired by White Dwarf 212's Defend the Shrine scenario, combined with the reinforcement
Emperor Battle of June music, love it.
Attack mission.
Cool, love that. I know I'm going on and on about the artwork, but that is one of my favorite Sisters of Battle pieces of art.
As I had the lower strategy rating, I deployed my Tyranids first, setting up the Hive Tyrant, a brood of Tyranid warriors, and the Termagants on one
Look at those old models!
And on the opposite short edge, the Shooty warriors skulked behind some rocks, supporting their close combat-orientated kin.
Look, all right. I'm a reusable man. I'm willing to accept not all of the old models were good. Not every model handcrafted was good. I think we could all agree there are quite a lot of there are a lot of ranges that the old metal models have a certain charm about them and can be argued to be superior for various aesthetic reasons. I think, however, we could all agree that the newer the Tyranid models, the better they look. Like, almost universally. Like, I love the old Hormagaunts, but I still think the new ones look better.
James deployed his Devastators first, giving his missile launchers
Look at that terrain.
Vantage point in the ruin.
I watched the video where he painted the Dark Angels up. It's so good.
The Sisters of Battle
Look at the terrain!
Shrine itself.
Yes, of
training
course.
Their weapons out of the Lancet windows, scanning the morning mist for signs of movement. Brother Vorbis emerged, armed to the teeth, and prepared for his long vigil to end.
Love that model. I actually have that model. It's not built or painted.
Eregius and his brothers also took to the shrine, ready to add their firepower to that of the Battle Sisters.
The old bolters, the old flamer models, man. So good.
Finally, James deployed his Rhino, intending to use it as a battering ram to disrupt the coming Tyranid onslaught.
I love it.
Adding his strategy rating to the die roll, James easily won the roll-off. Rhino collidiating to the die
Can we just look at the amount of terrain involved on the boards?
roll,
Like, obviously, I'm not sure what points level this game's been played at. It's probably fairly low level as an intro campaign game, but it's still been played on a 6x4, so I don't know. But some people might argue that the amount of terrain looks very, simplistic. It's just like a battle match, right in the middle, a few hills and stuff. It is very simplistic terrain, but it also is somewhat a testament to the game that it functions with this amount of terrain on it. Like, one of the reasons why 40k boards these days have so much terrain is because it is necessary. Like, it is needed. If you don't have that terrain, the game just breaks down. Whereas I do think there's something to be said for a game functioning on functioning outside of fixed standard parameters.
James easily won the roll-off. Rhino Callidius rumbled forwards, taking care to remain out of reach of the warrior's charge range. Devastator Squad Deferos's missile launchers took aim at the Tyranid warriors in the open.
I love that the Devastators have got like 2 missile launchers. Like, oh my god. 2 missile launchers. That's all the anti-tank you're going to need.
One crack missile missed, but the other blew the top half of a warrior apart in a shower of shattered chitin and hissing organs. The rest of Deferos's weapons were out of range of the termagants in the open. The bolters on the Rhino thundered at the warriors, but the torrent of bolts failed to wound the monstrosities.
Fair.
Squad RGS rapid-fired their bolters into the approaching brood of termagants, slaying 4.
Makes sense. The big old termagants are basically a bag of shit. Well, the models are good, but termagants are always a bag of shit. They're swarm, right?
With a precise volley, blasting another 4 to pulp with mass reactive rounds.
Nice.
Despite the egregious casualties, the termagant's proximity to the hive mind removed any need to take a leadership test.
I love that. So for those of you that haven't played older editions of Warhammer, morale was very, very different. Though, if you failed your, there were things that could trigger a leadership test. There was no like at the beginning of your turn command phase, see if you're battle shocked. It was if you take a certain amount of damage in like a phase, especially like a shooting phase, it could trigger a morale check, which could force your units to fall back. And then they might continue to fall back. You'd have to try and rally them in next turns. And so they were moving out of your control. One of the things that made Tyranids so, and everyone was affected by this, including Space Marines. If you wiped out half a Space Marine squad in one turn, then they would have to take a morale check, and they could potentially fall back off the board. Because for Space Marines, they shall know no fear, but also like Space Marines are very good soldiers, very tactical soldiers. They'll know when it's time for tactical retreat and all that kind of stuff. One of the things about Tyranids is that that synapse meant that if you were within synapse range, you just didn't interact. Like you were fearless essentially. But if you killed the synapse creatures, the base leadership of a Tyranid was very, very poor. And so there was and later in like sort of mid-Hammer editions, they would introduce rules that were called like shoot the big ones that would make it easier for you to target synapse creatures, because it basically represented that like the Imperium had, obviously they survived Hive Fleet Behemoth, Hive Fleet Kraken was kind of going on during like mid-Hammer and whatnot, same with like Leviathan. And at this point, the Imperial soldiery had, either been trained or learned, because even though Imperium's a big place, it still learns how to like fight things. It's like Gaunt brings us up in the Gaunt's Ghost series. It's in Straight Silver. Like the Imperium is always like learning from a lot of its battles. It's not quite as enemy at the gates memey as it might seem, although of course there are those kind of commanders. But the point is, like, in later editions where the Imperium had now been fighting the Tyranids for a little while, they got rules that allowed them to target the synapse creatures, because the whole idea was that, you know, even your basic Imperial grunt had learned, like, shoot the big ones. If you shoot the big ones, the little ones run away. And that was really cool. Like, that was like immersive storytelling from just rules, not from what was happening on the board, but just like core rules on the army.
In my turn, I ran the Tyranid warrior brood and the Hive Tyrant
That's fast.
straight at the defender's position.
The Hive Tyrant's going to mash stuff up.
As the surviving termagants scuttled forwards, readying their flesh borers in deference to the hive mind's whims. On the opposite flank, the two warriors charged the Rhino, but fell just shy of closing with the armored hull. After adjusting the position of one of my warriors, I fired their
Look at that
Devastators.
Look at that old warrior, man.
Needing a 5 due to heavy cover, I scored 2 hits.
Wow.
And at strength 6, wounded on 2s.
Wow.
James failed his armor save, and both Marines were killed by a combination of velocity, poison,
son.
and corrosive slime. A grievous loss.
That is a big deal, because remember, there's no rerolls in this game, so he needed 5s to hit with like a handful of shots. And like, this is one of the great things about Oldhammer. There's very few dice being rolled, and there's very few rerolls. Now, sometimes that will lead to, you know, not a lot happening, you know, foes trading shots at like long distances, the occasional casual getting picked up. But every so often, you'll get an epic moment because something that is unexpected happens. This is definitely something that's been lost from Modern Hammer, where with the amount of dice being chucked on the table, plus the amount of rerolls being involved, means there's a certain level of, well, there's a certain level of inevitability and expected outcomes, and very rarely is an expected outcome not achieved.
For the defenders, the Termagants unleashed a torrent of living munitions, scoring 2 hits and wounding once. But a Battle Sister's power armor shrugged off the board.
Nice.
The Tyranids were now within charge range. James's shooting would need to be formidable in order to keep the swarm at bay in their next turn.
And that's going to be hard now he's lost the missile launchers. Those were
conscious that they needed to buy valuable time for the Thunderhawk.
In 10th/11th, losing 2 missile launchers means nothing. In this game, it's like, I'm really on the back foot now. But, you know, it's not over. You still got like a melter gun.
Arrival,
a whole melter gun.
Superior Junith grimly ordered her squad to vault through the shrine windows and take up new positions behind the barricades. Whilst Vorbis poked his shotgun.
I love
the survivors of Devastator Squad Deferos redeployed down the steps of the ruin as the Rhino gunned its engines and headed directly into the Tyranid warriors. Both aliens easily leapt out of the path of the vehicle. But they weren't out
cool mechanic, right?
of danger yet. The Rhino's bolters swiveled and blazed away, scoring 2 wounds and slaying one of the Tyranid warriors. With a prayer on their lips, the sisters threw crack grenades at the Tyranids. But thanks to the Tyranids' rapid movement and the -1 penalty for throwing crack grenades, only 1 struck true. And to James's horror, dealt a solitary wound.
Oh no.
Sister Sledge's melter gun had better luck.
Come on.
Reducing one of the towering warriors to a bubbling stew.
Yes.
As its carapace burst in a shower of gore and superheated alien offal.
Love that.
Brother Vor.
You see how like a single melter gun feels epic? It's not, oh, well, I lost 1 melter gun, but I've got 7 more in my army, 8 more, 10 more in my army. It's like a single melter gun feels impactful.
This blasted his shotgun, but clearly hadn't kept up his appointments at the opticians. Squad Deferos also had abysmal luck, scoring 2 hits on the Termagants, but failed to wound.
Oh no.
Squad Eregius poured bolter fire over the heads of Sister Superior Junith's squad and succeeded in bringing down the wounded warrior and grievously wounding another.
I don't think that's going to be enough.
With a warrior and the Hive Tyrant bearing down on them, the Battle Sisters readied themselves to join the Emperor at his side.
The warrior might go down in melee, but probably won't.
Rules for the Tyranid attack mission, another brood of Tyranid warriors entered the battlefield on a roll of a 4+, as the hive mind directed the growing swarm towards these troublesome meat things. The wounded Tyranid warrior charged, followed by the monstrous and terrifying form of the Hive Tyrant, as the last warrior from the second brood smashed into the flank of the battle.
Fixed charge distances. Also, notice how the charging is happening in the movement phase. So then you can't shoot as well. You see how like each unit is only able to really do one thing, maybe 1.5 things.
Sisters squad. The termagants scuttled ever onwards, and the warriors leapt from cover, their massive talons scraping and screeching along the armored hull of the Rhino. With no shooting to speak of, we went straight into combat. The Tyranid warriors, ripping the bolters from their mount on the Rhino, tore off a track, sending the Space Marine vehicle out of control.
Oh shit.
Sister Sledge was decapitated by the slash of a bone sword, as another battle sister was slain by a flurry of attacks. Sister Superior Junith, having dodged the tendrils of the Hive Tyrant's lash whip, was no match for the consort of the Hive Mind, and fell with another of her sisters.
Hive Tyrant's like killed 2 whole sister models. Woo! But it's you might think, well, that's pathetic, but there's only 6 sisters on the battlefield.
I made my 2-inch follow-up move, and with that, the Tyranid turn was over.
It's going to be difficult going into turn 3 for the Dark Angels.
James started by rolling for his out-of-control Rhino. A Tyranid warrior leapt aside as the Rhino crashed harmlessly into the rocks and came to a standstill.
Cool.
After some deliberation, James pulled his 2 sisters out of combat, and they immediately died to the cascade of free attacks from the warrior and the Hive Tyrant. But their sacrifice was not in vain. The surviving sister staggered into the shrine, covered by Brother Vorbis, whose nostrils flared with righteous zeal.
Yes, come on, Vorbis, here we go.
Squad Defros joined their brothers, a stubborn wall of ceramite.
Yes,
and
reform the line. Reform the line!
Unleashed his brazier of holy fire upon the termagants, immolating 3 of the scuttling beasts.
Yes!
Squad Eregius' flamer opened.
Look at the flamer template, boys! Look at it! I do think that the old cardboard ones like that look so much better than the clear ones. The clear ones were made out of plastic, and the clear, you could kind of see exactly who was getting covered by them and whatnot. But that like actual broiling flame coming out, so good.
Up to and bathed the warriors and Hive Tyrant in Prometheum. The warriors were unharmed, but the Hive Tyrant lost a wound and was set ablaze by the purifying flame.
And that means something. That's not just flavor text, that means something.
The rest of the squad rapid-fired their bolters, dealing 3 wounds and bringing another Tyranid warrior crashing to the ground.
Yes.
Finally, Squad Defros, unable to draw a bead on the Hive Tyrant, picked off 2 termagants with precise kill shots.
Nice, double tap.
In my turn, the Hive Tyrant continued to burn.
The green gas mod,
as more Tyranids surged onto the battle grid. Trampling over their fallen kin, the next brood of warriors joined the Hive Tyrant,
God.
eager to prise open and kill the meat things.
Oh my God.
Termagants charged Brother Vorbis, and the Hive Tyrant and warrior loomed over the last resolute sister. My Tyranid warriors ignored the crippled Rhino and headed towards the shrine.
It's going to be just the Space Marines left.
In the close combat phase, the battle sister was slain by the blinding flash of the Hive Tyrant's lash whip. With a practiced swipe of his chainsword, Brother Vorbis cut a leaping termagant in half, but
Leaps
despite
at him
winning
and
the
then
combat, failed to wound the last member of the brood. Unluckily for him, I used my follow-up to bring the burning form of my hive tyrant to loom over him.
Amazing, I love
Things
that.
were looking bleak for the Imperials, but there was every chance the game would end here on a roll of a 5, heralding the arrival of the Thunderhawk. On a roll of a 1,
No!
the Dark Angels would just have to hang in there a little longer.
It's only, yeah. So we sometimes complain about 40k going down from a 6-turn to a 5-turn game. Maybe we joke about going down to a 4-turn game. But in second edition, there were certain missions that only lasted a very short amount of time. Some of them were longer than others. Like this particular one is like a special one called Tyrannid Attack. I think it came out either in the Tyrannid Codex or one of the expansions like Battle of Macragge and everything. And that might only last three turns. But the reason it only lasts a short time is because the Tyranids get a lot of reinforcements. So if it lasts too long, then the Imperium's guaranteed to get wiped out because the endless waves of Tyranids. But in a funny sort of way, like every turn that goes by, it becomes a more and more desperate defense, which is actually like, you'll be there like, please just end the game. It's like, keeps going. Please just roll the dice. Just get anything for a 1. Fuck.
Employing a similar strategy to the turn before, James had Vorbis fall back to give the Angels of Death a clear line of sight, something that the Hive Tyrant could not in good conscience allow. Half of Squad Eregius rapid-fired their bolters at the Tyranid warrior, but only dealt a solitary wound, which was absorbed by the thing's thick carapace.
Shit.
This left 2 Marines to fling crack grenades at the Hive Tyrant. One landed true, wedging itself between the beast's armored carapace and its head. The grenade wounded it on a 6, and James rolled a massive 6 for damage, blasting the abomination's head off in a shower of ichor.
How cool. Now that's an anti-tank grenade. That's what crack grenades were. The whole thing is that they were anti-tank grenades. In fact, there used to be a rule with Tyrannic war veterans where they could use crack grenades as close combat weapons because they had learned during the war with the Tyranids that if you took a crack grenade and rammed it down like one of the things the hive mind didn't expect you to do was take a grenade and ram it down the beast's throat. You might lose your arm in the process, which is why a lot of the Tyrannic war veterans had bionic arms.
Vengeance for the Keepers of the Faith. Squad Defros rapid-fired over the prone Hive Tyrant and killed the wounded Tyranid warrior.
There we go. The Angels of Death!
Surrounded by Tyranid corpses.
And this is when Tactical Marines feeling epic.
It seemed that James had bought himself some breathing room. My Tyranids, their forces without number, continued pouring onto the board as Squad Defros found itself assailed by another brood of Tyranid warriors. As the Death Spitter and Devourer brood skirted the edge of the shrine to shoot the Marines.
It's still looking bad for the Marines. They're not invincible.
The Termagants surged over the first line of barricades, and a Marine was killed by a blast from a Death Spitter.
Shit.
In an unprecedented
Death Spitters been doing
events,
work.
Veteran Sergeant Deferos survived the onslaught from the charging warriors, as did his brother.
See, no rerolls. No rerolls, just the dice roll. Let the dice fall where they may. And so, if this, normally this guy would die, but the fact that the Brother Sergeant lived, epic moment. Epic moment.
The Marine. Then he turned to chop down the last Termagant.
Yes!
Now, where was that damn Thunderhawk? James needed a 4 for the game to end.
Come on!
Oh dear.
Brother, where is the extraction? Brother, where is the Thunderhawk? Primax, plant all over us. It's so immersive. It's so good. I'm not even playing it and I'm loving it.
Gritting their teeth, Squad Eregius turned to face the threat from behind and bathed the Tyranids in Promethium, scoring 3 wounds and setting all 3 of the Tyranids ablaze, as 2 crack grenades rattled about inside the carapaces of 2 of the monstrosities before blasting them to shards of
yes. Literally, the Marines are like, shooting one way, turning around, reloading, shooting another way, send them back again into the depths of hell, send them back to the warp from whence they came. So good.
Squad Defros fought tooth and nail with the Tyranid warriors and not only succeeded in not dying, but dealt a wound to one of the creatures.
This is insane, man. Come on, a Marine's a Marine at the end of the day. Sometimes they just get lucky.
In my turn 5, I ran the termagants towards the center, conscious that I would get a victory point for every 3 models that were inside the shrine at the end of the game. Tyranid reinforcements galloped onwards as the end surely drew near for those meddlesome meat things. Rolling a 6, the flames of the Tyranid warrior were extinguished, and
nice.
It maneuvered around the shrine to send a volley of shrieking worms at a Dark Angel. I scored a hit and 2 shots along with a jam.
Can we just go back there?
Angel.
Look, right. I know that many people watching this will think that the models have come on a really long way. I mean, look at the Marine, look at the Tyranid, right? But there is a certain charm to what we're seeing here in terms of like model technology. And when GW's like, hey, with 11th edition, we want the buildings to mean something. Like, we want there to be more narrative aspects to it. Like, I fully support them in that goal. I do. I don't think 11th edition is going to achieve it, all right? I don't. But I fully support them in going in that direction because it creates what we're seeing here, like crazy moments here. Like, I think the game will need a hard rewrite. And I don't think there's really any reason for GW to do that because, like, the reason it got a hard rewrite from 7th to 8th was because the game was failing and GW had to pull an ace out from from their sleeve because otherwise it would have gone squiffy. Right now, there's no real incentive for them to do it, and if they did like a massive hard reset in the, it's only really a risk for them, and they're a core post probably going to do it. But I do really hope that we can get back to like this epic moments. And before you say, oh, this is just nostalgia, it's not this good, it never was this good, I have to strongly disagree with you. And I know you're going to roll your eyes, but fuck it. I get this feeling from playing Conflict 47. I know. But this weekend, I played a game where my basic infantry, my US National Guardsmen, armed with naught but rifles and a flamethrower, had to hold a trench line from a beach assault from British automaton infantry. The robots came wading out of the surf. And like, there were these kind of moments where like my flamethrower was able to pull off like an epic like hit, which became like maximum hits, like burned an entire squad away. Like the rifles, got some lucky hits. Normally they'd never do any damage to the robots, but they were like able to. And it recaptured this kind of feeling. So it is possible with modern games. It is. It's not just something that exists in the past. It's something that can exist in the present.
I scored a hit and 2 shots along with a jam, dealing 1 wound that was saved by James's Marine. Squad Defros's luck had finally run out.
Oh,
and the
no.
veteran sergeant, along with another Marine, engaged in close combat, were chopped to pieces by the potent bite of dual-wielded bone swords.
Yeah, man.
Squad Eregius listened out for the distinctive sound of Mars pattern engines, but it was not to be.
Oh my God. We have been left here to die, brother. Then we shall sell our Souls in the name of the Emperor dearly. Our lives in the name of the Emperor dearly. Our souls will go and meet him. We will dine by his table tonight. Epic.
James needed to reduce the number of enemy models that could enter the shrine, so he directed Squad Eregius to kill as many termagants as possible. The Flamer killed 4 and set another on fire.
I would have gone for the warriors.
Whilst
I think the termagants are a distraction.
Disciplined to the last, slew another 5.
But I guess victory points for holding for the shrine. Yeah, I get it. He's playing, it's clever, but I would have got the warriors the bigger threat.
Satisfied
termagants aren't going to do much to you.
James awaited the end, as the last member of Squad Deferos disappeared in a blur of slashing blades, scything talons, and red mist.
Like the final kill rune or life rune winks out
in the final turn
on the heads of display.
I charged as many Tyranids into close combat as I could, whilst springing the termagants into the shrine.
Come on, Power Fist. Come on. I believe in the Power Fist.
In the close combat phase, Squad Eregius, hopelessly outnumbered, was cut down where they stood.
No. Power Fist!
Even veteran Sergeant Eregius's refractor field was no help, and the chapter hero was slain.
No!
Only one member of the squad remained alive at the end of the game.
He gets the gene seed. Brother!
After a White Dwarf handshake, it was time to tally the points and take stock. We agreed that James had positioned his forces well at the beginning of the game, and it was unfortunate that he lost the missile launchers so early on.
Yeah.
Despite this setback, he switched tactics to using crack grenades and successfully sacrificed units to delay my swarm's advance, then pelted them with grenades. A strategy that did for my Hive Tyrant, as well as more than a few of my Tyranid warriors.
He played really well.
Had the game ended at any point before the 6th turn, then James would have been victorious, scoring an extra 5 victory points for keeping my models out of the shrine. Unfortunately, the Thunderhawk pilot simply couldn't find a route through the spore clouds and swarms of gargoyles in time to save the stalwart defenders.
I like to think they called for extraction. Like, they called for extraction, but like, this is a planet that's being assailed by like Tyranids. Like, the Thunderhawk just, it never made it. It got intercepted on the way. It never made it. You know? Like, you can imagine being like the veteran sergeant of the last squad, like, you know, he's been talking to like the Thunderhawk pilot, like, yeah, we're on the way, call for extraction. And then like on the final turn, like, he's like, brother, where are you? Our position is being overrun. And just the static in his helmet box, he realizes there's no extraction coming today.
So, at the end of the game, James scored 9 victory points for killing Tyranids.
It's still very good.
And I scored 9 for killing the Imperials, along with 3 victory points for the 9 models that ended the game inside the shrine, for a total of 11 victory points. A victory
12,
for the Hive Mind. That's the end of this scenario, but what does that mean in the context of the campaign?
Yes, of course.
The Tyranids will receive points to spend on biomorphs in a later game, and the Dark Angels receive nothing.
Ooh.
A massive thank you to my Patreon community for making this video possible, and an especially warm welcome to this month's new members. NATO111,
Cool. Well, I will post the video down in the channel right now, and I will insist. I don't ask. I insist you all open it in a new tab, give it a like, and save it to your watch later, because you can see now why I am such a big fan of minisodes, and you can see now why I think he makes the best Old Hammer content. I mean, that is just. Actually, it's actually fun. That is what battle reports are about. No top-down camera, no bullshit like L-shaped ruins, no talking about meta this, meta that, meta I barely know her, right? That is what I'm talking about. And yes, that's a battle report, but that is reflective of Vibehammer. That's reflective of it. That's the kind of shit that we need to get back into Warhammer quickly. I do worry, dear viewers, that the record profits of Games Workshop are hiding. Maybe it's just naivety. Maybe it's just trying to manifest into existence. But I do worry that the record profits of GW are hiding something fundamentally wrong with the game that long term will not be good for its health. Yeah. 10 pieces of shit, just like the video. Who are these uncultured swine? The same people that think that fighting over a bunch of unpainted MDF ruins equals good gameplay. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian Glory Hole, today is your lucky day.